Man, Jake Weezy, producer extraordinaire on Distortion Static.
Jake One is an American record producer and songwriter from Seattle, Washington. He is best known for a multitude of different records, some but not all including Acid Rain by Chance the Rapper, Rolling Stone by Brent Faiyaz, Lobster Omelette by Freddie Gibbs, Bad Business by 21 Savage, Out of Time by Future, and has produced for other amazing acts like 50 Cent, Larry June, Pop Smoke, Playboi Carti, Travis Scott, Nipsey Hussle, and well, you get the point. The list goes on. Jake One is another of my big influences when it comes to my processing technique, sound selection, and unorthodox soul sample sound. Tracks like Sheep by Russ, Looking Exotic by Future, and Amen by Travis Scott are some great examples of songs where Jake offers his most amazing soul samples. Take Sheep, for example. This song uses a combination of analog synthesizers and rudimentary sounds like keys, vocals, and strings to create a nostalgic Southern influence track. Kinda like this. Jake One, like myself, usually starts his samples with a chord progression, which serves as the foundation of any good sample. I started the sample with this super simple 3-chord chord progression. I like this chord progression because it was giving me a church Sunday altar call vibe type of feel. Also, if you look at the end of every 4 bars, I place the transitional chords on the upbeat to give it more bounce. Next, I layered the same piano chords with a Rhodes layer to make the sample more full. Now that I had a solid idea, it was time to add the detail and fill the sample out. So I added a bass line using 2 different basses. One bass shot was realistic sounding from X, Y, and 5, while the other was more a moog bass to give the bottom end some depth. Jake One often doubles his basses in his samples to emphasize certain notes in his samples to give it a certain texture.
Thought the bass needed something a little different to not just make it like a standard keyboard bass. So I went in Melodyne and I sampled this one guitar and bass note.
For more variation, I took the same chord progression from the Rhodes and piano, creating a secondary melody of piano chord stabs walking you down the progression. I wanted it to be realistic as possible, so if you look at the velocities, that's the secret to having realistic sounding piano. on top of adding some Reels tape, effect rack, and King's microphone to give it a vintage feel. I really loved the direction where the sample was going, but it wasn't quite done yet, so I decided to add an arpeggiated top line melody of electric guitar, which was the initial cherry on top. I gave it a slap effect using the Echo Boy Jr. and added extra delay on top using the Delay Memory Brigade from Arturia. Jake uses a lot of arps equipped with effects in his production to add transition or for a unique unorthodox sound similar to what he did for the sample for Amen. After having this foundation for the melody, it still didn't feel fully complete, so I added 2 analog synth sounds to this sample to beef up and enrich the vintage undertones. Drake One does something similar in the original sample for Looking Exotic. I added this synth phrase using a one shot from XY5. Then I used this Juno 60 preset in my Polyphonia bank called Full of Love to lay this rich full pad layer.